Madam High Commissioner, Excellencies, distinguished guests. On behalf of the Kingdom of Bahrain, may I congratulate you, Mr. President, Ambassador Ella, and the members of your Bureau on your elections to this August Council. We reaffirm our commitment to support you as you take forward the good work of your predecessor, Ambassador Henksel. I also extend the Kingdom of Bahrain's congratulations to President Munsif al-Marzouqi and the Tunisian people on the adoption of their progressive constitution. This opens a new and hopeful era for Tunisia. Our best wishes will always be with the Tunisian people as they embark upon their better future. Excellencies, my government appreciates and shares Her Excellency Madame Navi Pillay, the High Commissioner's vision of ensuring human rights for all. We reaffirm our commitment to cooperating with the High Commissioner and her office. I am pleased to report on the significant cooperation that is already underway. A team from the High Commissioner's office is currently in Bahrain, engaging in wide-ranging consultations. Its purpose is to draw up a program of technical assistance and capacity building. This is our first such program with the Office of the High Commissioner, and I thank her for her support in this regard. The program will help us to further incorporate international human rights standards into our national laws and policies, continue to strengthen our national institutions, formulate national plans, and provide more human rights education and training. In essence, to promote an enduring human rights culture. This program is in addition to the far-reaching reform efforts already in place. Bahrain is committed to implementing the specific projects being designed in cooperation with the High Commissioner's Office. Ladies and gentlemen, Bahrain is a vibrant and diverse country in a region of considerable complexity. Under His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa leadership, there has been a decade-long program of reform following the principles of the 2001 National Action Charter, which was approved in a referendum by an overwhelming majority of our people. This program of stable, gradual reform has seen the growth of a civic-minded society, tangible advances in women's empowerment, the development of a wide range of NGOs, robust trade unions, an elected parliament, and an independent constitutional court. These have been established to encourage a favourable environment for reform and political participation. Our gains are undeniable. But as you all know, we have faced challenges. In 2011, for around 2 months, our progressive agenda and long-standing tradition of tolerance and coexistence were challenged. Recognizing the need to ascertain the truth, His Majesty King Hamad appointed the Bahrain Independent Commission of Inquiry, an initiative unlike any ever seen before, in keeping with our observance of transparency and openness. The BICI was exclusively comprised of eminent international figures known for their high achievements in the fields of human rights, and notably for their contribution to various bodies of the United Nations. The BICI report provided 26 recommendations, a comprehensive guide redirecting us back to our path of progressive development. We have worked resolutely to implement the BICI recommendations. Today, 3 years on, we have emerged more resilient and more stable. We now have greater systems in place to promote and protect human rights. Our work has involved constructing effective institutions of governance and accountability, establishing independent oversight mechanisms, such as the independent Ombudsman of the Ministry of Interior and of the National Security Agency, further professionalizing our police force and training police officials to uphold human rights and the rule of law. Salient examples of our efforts and the results of our work are contained in the handout provided to you. These are just a few instances among many. A comprehensive report, which I commend to your attention, has also been issued last week by the body in charge of following up the implementation of the BICI. Recommendations. This report contains statistics in-depth information about how our enormous structural changes are coming to life. Our commitment to upholding human rights goes well beyond the BICI recommendations. I'll only mention two of many. Recently, the Prisoners and Detainees Rights Commission was established, which operates as a national preventive mechanism, taking into account the principles of UPCAT. Further, His Majesty King Hamad proposed an Arab Court of Human Rights, and Bahrain is leading the process. This proposed court has received the backing of the Arab League. It will be housed in Manama. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, while undertaking these far-reaching reforms, we continue to face challenges. The most recent BICI follow-up unit report contains some statistics of the rioting and terror-inducing activities faced by our society on a daily basis. On average, every day since February 2011, there are more than 11 incidents of Molotov cocktails fired and between 2 to 3 police injuries serious enough to warrant hospitalization. These incidents include from 1 to hundreds of Molotov cocktails thrown. We have discovered or defused hundreds of real or fake IEDs. A large number have exploded in locations popular with civilians. In 2013, for the first time, real bombs have outpaced fake devices. Just last night, 2 children, aged 10 and 11, were hospitalized with serious injuries. They were given a bomb by a group of older men and directed to plant it at a specific location. The bomb exploded while the 11-year-old was carrying it. His hand was blown off. These are not mere numbers. Since 2011, there have been 13 police deaths. We are only 64 days into 2014. We have 4 police deaths already. 1 policeman died on the 14th of February when a bomb exploded in the village of Ad-Deir. 3 policemen died in particularly heinous circumstances on Monday of this week. 1 more is, as we speak, fighting for his life. An additional 11 were injured. A bomb was placed near a lamppost in the village of Day. When a police patrol was near, it was remotely detonated. Those who committed this brutal murder had pre-positioned a person in a remote location to record a video of this gruesome act. They uploaded this horrific video on the internet and distributed it on social media channels. This is terrorism, premeditated, pure and simple. The group called the Al-Ashtar Brigades has publicly claimed responsibility for this attack. This is the same group that had publicly claimed responsibility for the death of another police officer in July 2013, again by an IED. 2 other officers were grievously injured in that instance of terrorism. The Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube pages of this group routinely glorify assassination, terror, and death. The GCC ministerial meeting held in Riyadh this week recognized the Al-Ashtar Brigades and the equally violent 14 February Youth Coalition as terrorist groups. We urge the international community to stand together against these terrorist groups. My government notes the appropriate and unequivocal condemnation of this attack, both from governments and international organizations that have done so. In particular, the denunciation of this attack in the strongest of terms and at the highest of levels. Disappointingly, the actors that could do much to calm the situation have not taken the opportunity to do so. To date, there has not been any effective effort by politically influential clerics or their affiliated political human rights players to put a stop to the violence. We have heard them endorse attacks against police officers and launch clear and systematic programs of violent opposition against the government. Where is the injunction against violence, terrorism and assassination? Where is the clear and systematic program to de-escalate tension and reduce extremism. On the contrary, certain groups falsely use the language of human rights to mask a sectarian agenda and encourage the violence. Astonishingly, some activists have gone so far to suggest that either the bombing did not occur, or that the police did not die, or that the bomb was planted and detonated by the police itself. In fact, these terrorist groups have been actively seeking to procure weapons of terror and assassination. In December 2013, we intercepted a weapon shipment on a boat originating in Iraq and bound for Bahrain. That included large quantities of C4 and TNT, claymore blocks, sophisticated armor-piercing explosives, magnetically attachable explosive devices, circuit boards for remote detonators, and Iranian-made hand grenades, among other weaponry. The violence we see in Bahrain is directly supported by elements of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Numerous foreign governments have repeatedly assessed Iran's active involvement in indirect training of violent actors in Bahrain through proxy groups based outside Bahrain, emergence of insurgent groups directly linked to the Al-Quds Force, a special unit of Iran's Revolutionary Guard, arrests across the GCC of individuals being directed by Iranian operatives, and seizures of large amounts of deadly weaponry. These are a few recent examples already in the public domain. We call upon the Islamic Republic of Iran to respect the principles of non-intervention, peaceful coexistence, and good neighborliness enshrined in the UN Charter. We have always extended our open hands of friendship to Iran and continue to act with utmost good faith, but we will not tolerate any foreign actor to compromise our security and stability. Ladies and gentlemen, despite the rejection stance of some groups, central to our approach has been a continued commitment to national dialogue. This has always been the Bahraini way. This is the hard work of consensus building and attending to tedious details. In January 2014, His Majesty King Hamad directed His Royal Highness the Crown Prince to meet with all stakeholders and overcome the challenges to the process based on a free and open exchange of views. All parties agreed to return to the dialogue. The parties to the talk agreed to deputize senior representatives. Further, a series of bilateral meetings are currently underway between the participants. A list of core issues for discussion has been agreed upon. Early indicators suggest a positive atmosphere is being created and there is a real will to move forward. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the burning issue on the international agenda is the long-standing suffering of the Palestinian people. We need to reach a just, permanent and comprehensive solution that guarantees the legitimate and inalienable rights of the Palestinian people, as is the case for all other peoples in the world. It is imperative that all parties adhere to the relevant United Nations resolutions and the Arab Peace Initiative. This would, as a first step, involve an immediate halt of the oppression of the Palestinians, the lifting of the blockade of Gaza, and an end to the building of settlements. Our region has given birth to great world religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. We have lived side by side for centuries and made common cause with one another. We share a rich common history. Let us move forward based on mutual respect for each other's beliefs, culture, and religion. We are fully confident that all of us would thrive following the realization of the two-state solution between Palestinians and Israelis. Let me turn to Syria. The scale of the humanitarian crisis unfolding there is beyond appalling. More than 100,000 killed and more than 2 million people displaced, including 1 million children. These facts should be seared into our collective memory. Bahrain is doing its part to alleviate the plight of those forced to flee their homes. The world cannot afford to see the Geneva peace talks fail. We can be sure that if we do not achieve peace, then thousands more innocent Syrians will pay the price. Bahrain continues to stand with the international community in our collective effort to assist the Syrian people achieve their aspirations. Ladies and gentlemen, the Council rightly maintains focus on stopping and preventing human rights violations. These are today occurring in places such as the Central African Republic, Myanmar, and South Sudan, to name but a few where our attention is necessary. But let us raise our sights beyond just ending and preventing violations. For all of us here, there is always room to improve. That is why we must encourage the universal respect for human rights and the rule of law in all societies. The final situation I wish to touch upon is Egypt. The government of the Arab Republic of Egypt embodies the hopes and aspirations of the Egyptian people. We are saddened that this ancient and rich culture is facing violent extremism. Bahrain extends its unwavering support to the government and the Egyptian people who in January of this year adopted their constitution. We extend our congratulations and look forward to Egypt regaining its traditional leading role in the Middle East. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank fellow member states, High Commissioner Madame Pillay and their staff for their devotion to promoting and protecting the human rights for all persons. Please allow me, Excellencies, to amplify the compliments paid to High Commissioner Pillay by you all and by His Excellency Ban Ki-moon. During our opening session, I have been fortunate to get to know Dr. Pillay better over the past year. Her, quote, creativity, persistence and patience, unquote, is matched by her empathy, compassion and humanity. We reiterate our commitment to the aims and purpose of this esteemed Council and the United Nations human rights mechanisms, and look forward to ongoing and mutually beneficial cooperation. We also continue to engage constructively with international human rights organizations. My government will return here to present Bahrain's interim progress report during the current UPR cycle. Thank you very much.